than a decade has passed since the making of this film. These years have seen an unprecedented progress in the sport of weightlifting, and of course, this development has also shaped the rules of refereeing to some extent. By producing this film on behalf of the Hungarian Weightlifting Association, its General Secretary Tamás Olyan wished to make a contribution to the instruction of referees, a program initiated and pursued by the International Federation under the expert guidance of its that-time General Secretary, the late Mr. Oscar State. Although some help had been received from the IWF to the production of this film, the financial and material conditions at the disposal of the Hungarian Association didn't permit to make it comparable in quality to other films on this tape created today by the IWF. Still, we believe that it can serve its main objective, and that is to help the practical training of referees. Some of the technical rules have in fact undergone essential changes recently, especially since 1976. The most obvious modifications you will see are in the period of time allowed for making the attempts. So we would like to draw your attention to the fact that, according to the present rules, 2 minutes will be allocated to each competitor between the calling of his name and the beginning of the attempt, and not 3, as it is said in this film. Consequently, when an athlete attempts 2 lifts in succession, or in the case of a 4th attempt permitted by the jury, he will be allowed 3 minutes, and not 5, for the succeeding attempt. A warning signal shall be given after 1 or 2 minutes, respectively. You will also note that the referees in the film use their hands or red and white flags to indicate the down signal or a warning for the chief referee. Today, the modern electronic referee light system provides each of the 3 referees with equal rights, and it gives a simultaneously audible and visible down signal to the competitor.
Some moments taken truly from life. And while he in his joy stays in the air, let us see how such a competition begins. Of course, with the parade of the competitors. Alice, but this is yet early. Stop, please. Thank you. Please don't go further. We have to speak namely about so many things which precede this parade. For example, immediately preceding the competition, the 3 referees must be convinced of the regular dimensions of the barbels and of the platform, of the smooth surface of the platform, and that its surface is not slippery. The discs of the same dimensions but different weights must be marked with various colors, so that they could be distinguished. In our film, the colors can be perceived only in shades. Accordingly, from right to the left, the 25-kilogram disc is red, the 20-kilogram disc is blue, and the 15-kilogram disc is of yellow color. The verification of the barbel and of the discs before the competition is also a duty of the 3 referees. During or after the competition, there is no subsequent control of the barbel, not even in a case of a record. One of the most important and, we must admit, most exciting moments of a weightlifting competition is the weighing in of competitors. Its result greatly influences the tactics while the competition, and indeed more than once the victory itself. The body weights ascertained in the presence of the 3 referees are recorded in the report. After this, the competitors draw a lot. Then the referees, having finished the weighing in, inspect the regular costumes and bandages, etc. of the lifters and record the results on the referee's inspection form. The chief referee then hands over this inspection form to the jury's president. And while we are on the subject, the duty of the jury is to see to it that the event was a genuine sporting contest in the spirit of the rules with satisfactory arbitrage. The working tool of the referees, marked with numbers, are the hand discs of white and red color, the signal buttons for switching on the signal lights. In addition to these, the chief referee has also a whistle. The referee's uniform consists of blue jackets, grey trousers, but in very hot weather they may wear white shirts and grey trousers too. Certainly, they always have to wear the IWF badge on the pocket of their jackets or shirts. The 3 referees watch and judge the lifts from different angles of sight. This is of great importance, and in our film we shall call your attention specially to this point. The chief referee checks the proper loading of the barbell. Immediately before the start of the competition, the referees check the signal lights. There are 3 white and 3 red signal lamps. So much then about the referee's duties prior to the competition. And now let us pass over to the essence of our film and take a look in what one might call sports laboratory surroundings. First at the rules of the snatch, which are of decisive importance. One of the competitor lifts the bar above his knees. The bar shall pass with a continuous movement along the body without any stopping. Pulling from the hang is incorrect, and therefore such a lift is no lift. Similarly, the lift is bad if the competitor lifts with uneven extension of the arms. In order to be able to watch this fall properly, let us see the same lift from the point of view of the left side referee with slow motion picture. A variation on the same theme. The fault remains a fault also with splitting. This is not disputed by anyone. The lift is unacceptable with incomplete extension of the arms. Another fault is the finish with a press cut. Another fault is the finish with a press out. The competitor has not snatched the bar with extended arms above his head, and now he will correct his fault with press. it's a fault to correct while squatting. Likewise, it is wrong if the competitor carries out the correction while recovering from a split or a squat. Alas, such endeavors generally don't move the rigorous referees and subsequently are not honored. Finishing with a press out is prohibited, of course, also after recovering. The rules of the competition don't permit the bending and extending the arms during the snatch either. It isn't a fault if the lifter springs with his legs while recovering. It is prohibited to touch the ground with the knees or any part of the body. If at least two referees notice this fault and the side referees indicate this with the red signal discs or with his arms, then the chief referee has to stop the contest. So this is how the same fault was seen by the side referees and so by the chief referee. The same fault in other variation, and as we have seen it before, now we can see it again from each referee's point of view. In case of such a fault, the chief referee must watch more attentively the signals of his colleagues. For the analysis of faults made in other lifts, here are a few cleans and jerks during the competition. To touch the ground with the knee or any part of the body is prohibited also during the cleaning. It is incorrect if the bar touches a part of the trunk before the final position at the shoulders. It is also forbidden to roll the bar on the chest. After the clean, the competitor may change the width of his grip. Accordingly, such a correction isn't a fault. One of the most disputed moments is to decide whether or not the competitor's elbows or upper arms have touched the knees or thighs. Touching is forbidden. Touches may occur on the outside or inside part of the knees, thighs, or on the knees or thighs. All these may occur with one or both arms. Here again, the rules of the competition emphasize that if at least two referees notice the fault, the chief referee must interrupt the attempt. With the possible occurrence of such faults, the chief referee's appreciation is of decisive importance, because it is he who sees the attempt frontwise. And this time too he takes the attempt for good lift. But let us see the clean and jerk once again. He sees very well that the lifter's right arm doesn't touch his thigh. Therefore he lets the competitor continue the attempt. One can see well also from the point of view of the left side referee that the arm of the competitor doesn't touch his thigh. The right side referee thought that the lifter's right arm touched his thigh, therefore he indicated a fault, and though the chief referee sees his signal, he lets the competitor continue because there was only one who found a fault. The attempt is a good lift in the ratio of 2-to-1. Of course, it is not a fault if while cleaning the arms of the lifter are between his thighs without touching them. The competitor must complete the jerk with first start. Any apparent effort from the shoulders, if the lift is not completed, must be counted as no lift. After this, the chief referee must interrupt the attempt. The jerk is unacceptable if, during the attempt, one or both of the lifter's already extended arms bends and again extends. And finally, it is prohibited to finish the jerk with a press out. Now let us see some of the general rules of weightlifting. The competitor must not replace the bar before the chief referee's signal. The lift, otherwise well carried out, will be a no lift if the competitor drops the bar behind himself after the signal. The rules permit what is known as the hooking techniques. It is a no lift if the bar touches the thighs with a visible stop, and after that the competitor continues the attempt. But if during the pull the pair grazes or slides along the thighs without stopping, the lift is valid. the chief referee suspects that the competitor used grease or oil on his thighs in order to facilitate the sliding of the bar, he must check it together with his colleagues. His suspicion is justified, he reports that to the jury, which will decide whether or not the lifter should be disqualified from the competition. After finishing the attempt, the lifter may drop the bar from the height of his belt if the discs are rubber covered. The bar without rubber-covered discs must be lowered to the platform with both hands. The lift is unacceptable if the competitor leaves the platform during the execution of the attempt. There is a no lift too if the competitor replaces the bar or part of the bar outside the platform. It is not a fault if the competitor's feet, while staying on the platform, are outside the platform but don't touch the ground out of it. The chief referee may give the signal down only when the feet of the competitor are in the same line. The lifter may do this correction by his own notice or by the warning of his coach. The different views of the three referees, seeing the case from different angles, may result in different decisions. And, for example, this is also a situation in which the jury may intervene. In case of at least three identical opinions by the jury members, the jury may ask explanation from that referee whose decision seems to be incorrect. And last, but indeed not least, some rules about time limitations of the competition. After loading the bar and calling to the platform, the lifter has 3 minutes for preparation before the lift. The clock is stopped when the lifter has raised the barbell above the level of his knees. It doesn't count for an attempt if the competitor lifts up the barbell, but it doesn't reach the level of his knees. But if he lifts the bar above his knees level and from there drops or replaces it, it is a no lift. If a lifter asks for a change of weight and he himself must put on the weight, the clock is stopped. After the change is completed and the same lifter is called, the clock will continue to run. If a competitor doesn't begin his attempt within 3 minutes, he loses the possibility to try this attempt. The time limit for a fourth attempt, permitted exceptionally outside the competition, is 5 minutes. So much about the technical rules. Our picture was aimed to be a contribution to the homogeneous interpretation of the rules of the weightlifting, to help in the formation of identical judgments of the referee's work, and thereby to promote the further development and popularization of this masculine and hard sport.